How to implement routing in Angular? Want to know? After the intro. Hello everyone, this is Subrat and you are watching Fun of Heuristic. So to see the routing, you need to go to the computer, so jump into that. So before that, I did some modifications. So if you see a routing app routing module.ts is added, and in the app module ts I imported the app routing module. So it's required to implement routing in your applications. But if you know your app needs routing from the beginning, then while creating a project, you can write ng new your app name and hyphen hyphen routing. So it will create the same file for you and you're good to go then. We are exporting it here because we are importing it in the app module.ts. So we can do the route array and we can import the routing module.forRoute directly here, but that is not preferable because suppose you have multiple components, suppose you have multiple routings in your application, and those routings have a multiple childs also. So this app module will become very lengthy. So for that, what Angular suggests and what I will also suggest, that make a separate file, export that as a route module, then import it in your app module ts so that it will be used in your applications. So we'll go ahead and paste some code. So what I wrote here is, in the first line, if the path is empty, it will redirect to the login component, that login we created in the second videos. And we're saying the path match is full. So if it's match full, then it will go to the redirect to login component. And in the login, and I think if the path is login, the component assignment with the login component. So as you know, all the component and module need a selector to display it in the browser. So it's a kind of same. So router module also need a selector to display your component according to your routing condition. So that selector name is router outlet. So what I did is I added the router out component. So I added the router outlet in the app component.html. So how it will work is, whatever your path that is in the URL of your application, that is and by the way guys, this login is after your base href. So if you go to the index.html, so you have a base href. So whatever, now here this is the slash, that means the after your in the local after 4200, or if you are going for live, it's after .com, .in and everything. So that is the slash. If you want some other folder, if you need some other folder, you can write it here. So this thing will start after that. So it will get, if you're login after your base href, if that is login, it will get the component that is login component, and that is login component, and it will fetch all the details from the login component and go ahead and replace it in the router outlet as it for all the selector and all. So now if we go to the browser, you can see this is the fun app and it's login. If I try to do this also, so now if I hit enter, it will navigate to login. That's we wrote here. So now we'll try to implement another component. We'll create another component, that is maybe profile. So for that we can go to that ng, as you know, ng, then g for generate, c for component, then profile. That profile will get created for us, and what we need to do here is the same. We add a path here, that is profile, then component will be profile component. So if we go to the browser now, instead of login, if you try to change it to profile, it is say profile works. So what it does is same thing, it goes to the profile component, fetch everything, replace it here. So by the way, if you know you need a header in the beginning, and it will remains, if it remains same in all of your application, uh, a header or something, so you can do like this. And if you go to the browser, so if I'm in profile, so this will remain same throughout our application, because this is in the app component, it's not in the included in the router module. So if I go ahead and log in, so this will be remain same, only this part will get refreshed according to the your URL. That's optional, so you can do any way according to the requirement of your application. So now here we see how to use the path parameter by the router module. So for that, suppose we need a, in the profile it should be individual's profile, so it has some ID, it has some user ID, so we need the user ID in that. So for that, syntax is colon and the your variable name. So here I will give user ID, and that user ID will get passed to the profile component from the URL. So if your URL is localhost 4200 slash profile slash 19 20 200 1300, so though that number is your user ID, and that when the browser has that URL, then the router module pass the data to the profile component. In that, I'll paste some code here. So here what it will do, the activate route is, it will check the what route is activate at that time, as the router module is already sent you to the profile component. It will check the how the what is the activate route in that, and from that route that has a parameter. So as I told you here, uh, this is the URL parameters, so that whichever the parameters, all parameters are there, that the that comes under the params array. So this will return an observable. Now I want to cover the basic of the Angular, then we will go to the advanced topic and dive into the observable, promises, dynamic component allocation, and there are lot of things are there. So for that, please subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon so that you will never miss a single video. So for the context of it, I will explain little bit about observable. Suppose this is my area and I have an observer here, so which is observing everything from the area, and I am the listener of this. So what I'm saying is, to this observer, whatever happening there, just notify me. So if something moves, something happened in this area, the observer will notify me. So this is a kind of same thing of observable. A lot of things are there. We'll there will be complete one video for observable. It may be two. It's a very big thing. We'll see in the upcoming video. So you got, so this is observing what, so this is observing the whatever parameters are there. If something got changed there, it will get notified to its subscriber. So as I told, I am subscribing the observer here, which is looking to my area. So if something happens, something gets stolen, so it will notify me directly and I will get notified. So I am subscribed to this, and this is observing the area. So, and will return a params. Params is the list of object. So list is an object which contain as a key value pair. So this is your key, whatever name you given here. Suppose you give another parameter here, suppose profile ID. So in the JSON it will come user ID one parameter, profile ID is another parameter. So we'll go for only one here for the sake of video. And so here what I'm doing, I have a user ID instance variable. I'm assigning that user ID from the params, and I added the user ID here. So the user ID is the interpolation as you saw maybe the previous video. So if you go to the browser here, you'll see that this is a login component. So if I go ahead and change it to profile and 200, suppose the 200 is the ID, then they say user ID is 200. Suppose it will change it to, suppose you have a very complicated user ID and all, then it will say that. So how this worked is, so when the URL got matches with the condition given here, so is a profile slash the user ID as a optional variable, so then the profile component get loaded, and in this profile component it has a activate route. That activate route watches the params of it, and when it's got changes, it's notified subscriber. So we are able to access that in the file, and we are able to display it here. So as you are done with the path parameter, how to fetch and how to work with that, then now it's time to see the how the children works. You have a component here. Suppose you have a login profile component. Inside the profile you want to display some, so inside the profile you want to display your normal details, settings, then your security information, then your address. So how the user will go profile, then slash the setting profile, then it will go to the address profile, then it will go to the service profile, then security. So it will, the profile will be remain same every time, then the children it's going to be changed. Suppose you have a multiple tab in your screen, then you can assign one and you can make the upper skin as a parent and the below as a children route. So when the user will refresh, it will get due to the user according to the route. So what we will do here, we'll add one children. So the children parameter is there, and which will receive an array of path and all. So we added children here with the router JSON in it. So you shouldn't do like that. What I did, I just copy the same path and paste it here. So in the real scenario, it should be a separate component. I for the sake of time and for the sake of video, I'm just repeating the router here. So but you should do according to your requirement, which children need to be there. So now when we'll go to profile slash login, this login component, the data, all the content of the login component should get displayed there. So we'll go ahead and see that. So we'll go to profile. So the profile saying the user ID, as I already removed the user ID, this will not be there. Then we'll go to the login. Nothing happened. Why? We need to go there and see what the error is there. So if you go to profile component.html, and if we go ahead and see in the inspect, no errors are there. Then what happened? So guys, here you remember I told you every router need a selector. So here we don't have any selector here. So go ahead and paste this. So that is the router outlet. So this will work same as the parent. As the parent has a router outlet which I wrote in the app component.html. So when I provided a child to the profile component, so children to the profile component, that also need a selector to display. So when we go now, it will say this is the fun app in login component. So how this worked is, so in the inside the profile component, the child is there. So the children is login is there. So this login get pushed to the login component that got render in the router outlet section. So what you can do, you can add your multiple children here like this. Obviously the component will be different. Suppose this is address and this will be something else, and the corresponding component of them. For the sake of this video, we'll keep it for a single component, and we'll replace this component with some another component in the future when we'll go for the full-fledged application. So you can do the same thing for all the child. So you can add children in login, you can add children in this, even if you can add children here also. So if you go here, it also has a children parameter, and that also receives an array of paths, array of routers. You can add a children inside a parent, and then again children, then again children. So you can do according to requirement. So it's preferable to go till 3 children, don't go beyond that. But I didn't see in the real life scenario, I never goes max. I use 3 children in application. So if you need more, you can use that also. So as the video is getting longer, we'll cover all about the router in the next part of it, and we'll see how you will call from HTML, how to router link, how you will pass the parameter in the router link that I showed you how to fetch the parameter, and how to work accordingly. So, and we will cover the routing guards, and that is that is to authorization, authentication, and all. So if you're using some authentication mechanism, you can say that user is allowed here or not in the router module itself. So we'll cover all the things in the next video. So till that, stay happy. Bye bye.